Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bunnyzinecast BZCast. I am your host, Randy. This is the official podcast of Bunnyzine.com. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and listening. We've had a really long break. I have really good news for you guys that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. As you could tell by the title of the episode, this is literally just an announcement video for what is to come in 2018. I had an idea about just a little over a month ago to go forward with a different plan for the podcast to give you guys a more consistent product that will be informal, as educational as possible. It's just going to be way different than what we've had in the past, and I will talk about that. I'll go into detail to that in a few minutes here. Our social media pages are at official Bzine on Twitter, official Bunnyzine on Instagram, and Bunnyzine on Facebook. Make sure you guys give us a like and follow if you're on either of those formats. You can find this podcast and the future episodes of this podcast, even though they will be different, on YouTube.com, SoundCloud.com, and iTunes in the podcast section. It really does help you if you guys leave comments, if you like the video on YouTube, if you leave us a rating on iTunes. That really does help us get us a little more recognition going forward with the podcast. You know, it gets more eyes on the show. Alrighty. The last episode was episode 38, I believe. I will double check that right now, and it was on October 19th. So it's been a few months since you guys have heard me talk. Double checking that last podcast episode right there real quick. I had it written down. Yeah, okay, so this is episode 39. As I will talk about in a minute or two, the episode count is going to change. This is kind of like the last episode of this type of format where I will be solo. A lot has happened in the last few months. We had Halloween, we had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, we had New Year's. I'm recording this on New Year's Day. You can tell I'm a little rusty. January 1st, 2018. You guys will be hearing this later in the week. Probably as I spoke to Kedzie off air. Maybe this coming weekend, which would be, I don't even know what that would be anymore. All right. That'd be, I don't know, the 5th or 6th, somewhere in that area. It doesn't matter. You guys will hear it by the time I'm done talking. Our new issue is out today. It actually just came out a few hours right before this recording. The main story of the show is about Caleb. He's the man who saved that bunny in the wildfire situation. So as controversial and as amazing that story was, there's a lot more detail in it in our current e-magazine. Make sure you guys check that out. That is on the pinned post on our Facebook page. That is on the pinned post on our Twitter page, and is also going to be on our Instagram as well. Our Instagram, we don't use too often. It is pretty much for the It's pretty much to share the podcast and share any big updates that come along with Bunnyzine. But make sure you guys do give us a follow in there. Official Bunnyzine is the Instagram follow. All right. The announcement. I might as well just get to it now. The announcement is that we will be going weekly. That is right. We will be going weekly. The podcast is going to be completely different. It is going to be a much shorter podcast in comparison to previous episodes. We've had episodes go an hour and a half. We're going to be nowhere near that. We've had episodes go, 45 minutes, going to an hour. My guess, depending on the nature of the previous week, every episode is going to be in roughly 20 minutes, and then the longer episodes will be 30. So much shorter episodes. weekly content. I do have a co-host that I will have every episode. Her name is Sue. She's a member of the Bunnyzine development team. I'm really excited to go on with this show. I think this show, constantly having two people kind of share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Two, bunny people, active bunny people. Sharing their thoughts, opinions on stuff that's going on in the world that revolves around bunnies, I think will be really, really cool. The show every week is going to be based around stories that based around stories with bunnies. If there's any important articles that have to do with bunnies, for example, one that I was debating on putting in the first episode, but I'm not going to put it on because I'll mention it now. There was a state ban in Illinois, the state I live in, that is banning the sale of animals in pet stores unless they're willing to work with rescues. So we'll talk about stories like that have to do with bunnies. It's very possible that we could report on stuff in the bunny community. Anything big. The stories will fluctuate as to super positive and super negative. That's just how the world works when it comes to the news. We will definitely have some positive stuff. And there might be some side things that Sue and I might add to the thing. I would love to have like a small segment of each episode to involve you guys. So the email for the show is bunnyzinecast@gmail.com, bunnyzinecast@gmail.com. I would like to involve you guys in this weekly episode show. Maybe we ask you guys a question every week, and you guys send a response in the email. And, we'll give that part of the show like a minute or two, a couple minutes, just to talk about maybe any questions you have, any thoughts about bunny stuff. So again, weekly content. If you guys have listened to the first 38 episodes, I've mentioned it a lot that it was always my goal. It was always my goal to have a way more consistent show out there for you guys. And it's just way better. It is way better to have something way more consistent. The one thing that is, there are going to be a lot of variables. Sue is, I believe, is in the United Kingdom. I'm, of course, in the States. There is a time zone difference to where we will have to kind of coordinate hours as far as who's available and what. The day of the week is not going to be the same. As much as I would love it, and that would be amazing. If you listen to any podcast, if you watch a TV show, whatever you watch on Fox or ABC, it's on Thursday. The one show you like is on Thursday every week, right? So that's not going to be, as much as I would love it to happen, that's not going to be what's going to happen with this podcast, just because there's difference of schedules. And also, everyone, this is more of a team effort, which I'm about to go into. Not that it wasn't before. I think it was solely like Kedzie and I, and then some of the other people in the group would provide help with stories and ideas for the podcast. But this is like a 4-person team that is gonna keep really, really put everything together every week for this podcast, and I'm really excited about that. Sue and I as the co-host, Kedzie, who has been doing a great job this whole time editing. She's gonna be editing these weekly shows as well, and Iris of the Bunnyzine development team, who is super awesome and super active in posting those links and stories that are related to bunnies. She's going to be helping us out with providing some of those stories that she posts herself on the Facebook page, etc. So it is a really, really team effort to get this podcast going, get a new podcast format. I'm going to be looking excuse me, I'm sorry. Going to be looking into new intro music, intro and outro music that would be a little more fitting to the tone of like a news podcast kind of thing. As our current intro nothing is wrong with it. I just think with a new type of show that we're gonna have, I think it deserves kind of different music. Part of the reason, and I probably mentioned it in October, I don't remember, that we didn't have anything in November and December was I made a mistake in putting all my eggs in one basket with Watership Down on Netflix. When it was announced that it was coming, it was set to come out in 2017. There was never a date. It was on Netflix's. I'm sure some of you have Netflix. If you look up Watership Down, I think it still says 2017. I could do it right now, but I want to pause the podcast again. So yeah, I made that mistake. It never came out. It never came out in 2017. There is no trailer for it, like online to say, a 2-minute trailer and then a release date with it. There is no news on it. I came across one of the character, the voice actors. I am drawing a blank on his name. He's a big time actor that's doing a voice acting in the show. Someone he has like a fan page, Twitter, like every celebrity does, and they posted some link that confirmed that we might not see Watership Down until December of 2018. So I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name, but I think he's man. I am. It's yeah. So I if that's anywhere near true, take it with a grain of salt because it's a fan page, I believe, and I don't know, I don't remember the link, and I don't know how trustable the link is, but I kind of have to just assume that it's going to come out in 2018, and it's I don't know when it's going to happen. I think it would be a cool idea when it does come out for Sue and I to do some special episodes about Watership Down whenever it does come out, but we'll see. So that was my mistake because it's billed as a mini series. It's on Netflix. It says there's 4 episodes, so I was going to do a podcast episode per Watership Down episode, but that didn't come to be. Again, that's my fault for kind of relying on that and not having like a backup plan for anything, but that's okay. We're moving forward with a different idea for this podcast, where I don't have an official title. It might be like the BZCast weekly news. Again, our email is bunnyzinecast@gmail.com. That's bunnyzinecast@gmail.com. If you guys have any, if you want to share, I'm reading the email again because of this. If you want to share like any news items that you think are important in the bunny world, send them to that email, and we could talk about them on the show. If we do talk about it on the show, we will 100%, give you credit that you sent us that email, and give you a shout out and a thank you, and then we'll, Sue and I will talk about it for a little bit. So I'm really, really excited for this new format. I'm really excited for the podcast going forward. If you were a fan of the old format, I wouldn't say that it's like 100% dead. It is very, very possible to have another, down the line, if an opportunity comes to where I could have, another guest and Sue and I talk to that guest, that would be really cool. I currently don't have a third device that I could talk to another person on. So that would be a current issue. I've got my cell phone, and then I've got my laptop. And my laptop does the recording. So I would need a third device to have another person on. Yeah. So yeah, that, I mean, like I said, the opportunity, if that ever does happen, to have someone on for Sue and I to talk to for 30 minutes, 30 plus minutes, 40 minutes, that I would never ever rule that out. I think it's always a possibility, but we are definitely going with this format of the news show. Since this announcement video is not going to be out to this coming weekend, it's not coming out to this weekend. The first episode will most likely be in the second week of January. Hopefully Sue and I will coordinate a recording for the first episode, and then boom, we're off and we're going. The BZCast weekly news. So again, I really appreciate your guys' support. Please share this video, let your friends know, any bunny people know, and again, be active with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I love interacting with you guys. I'm on all three of them with Bunnyzine. Definitely on Twitter, as some of you already know, I handle the Twitter and the Instagram along with the podcast. So again, check out our current e-magazine. Check out our social media pages, email, blah blah blah. It'll be a little bit of adjustment on my part, as I'm used to talking with a person or by myself for 30 plus minutes, 40 plus minutes. But as almost to 17 minutes talking to you guys right now, we're closing this one out. So again, stay tuned for any updates. Before I close this out, I forgot to say this earlier. I apologize. We will post on Facebook when our recording will be coming out. As I said earlier, it's not going to be on the same day every week. So let's say on the first week of the second week of January, it's on that Tuesday, whatever date that is. The following week, it might be Friday. The following week, it might be Thursday or Saturday, or you know what I mean. There's going to be another episode the following week. It might just be a different day. And when I get a better grip on that, we're going to post those updates on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitter. That, hey, this episode is looking to come out on Friday. You guys get what I'm talking about. Apologize. Sorry, I lost my voice a bunch. I'm excited to have Sue on, so I don't have to lose my voice as much. Again, please share this news, the announcement. I know I'm repeating everything like crazy, but it's really, really important to get you guys tuned in and listening, get you guys active with this show. Again, interact with us on Facebook and Twitter and the email. Thank you for checking us out, guys. Bye.